In the mid-6th century, the Mediterranean trembles with uncertainty. The Western Roman Empire had long crumbled, and Italy now lies under the rule of the Ostrogoths. Yet in the east, Emperor Justinian believes the Roman world can be made whole again. When Queen Alamasunta, his ally and friend, is murdered by her own nobles, the spark became a flame. Justinian sees not only injustice but opportunity. He declares that Rome must rise once more and unleashes a war that will reshape the destiny of Italy. In the heart of Constantinople, Emperor Justinian nurtures a vision, one bold enough to shake the world. The West, once the heart of Rome, lies broken under Gothic rule. Justinian believes destiny calls him to reclaim it and restore the empire to its ancient glory. But in Italy, the Gothic kingdom fractures. Their queen, Alamasunta, educated, diplomatic and sympathetic to Roman ways, faces a storm of suspicion. Noble factions accuses her of betrayal, believing she has grown too close to Constantinople. When Alamasunta is seized and murdered, the fragile balance collapses. Her death shocks Justinian. What was once a simmering rivalry becomes a justified cause for war. The emperor now has a perfect reason to intervene. Messengers rushed into the palace with news of the queen's assassination. Justinian does not hesitate. The death of his ally becomes the spark. Italy, he declares, must be brought back to Roman order by diplomacy if possible, by force if necessary. To lead this monumental campaign, Justinian calls upon his greatest general, Belisarius, young, brilliant, and already a living legend. After victories in Persia and Africa, he prepares once more to reshape history. The summer of 535, the Roman fleet pushes westwards. Hundreds of ships cut across the Mediterranean, carrying soldiers, supplies, and the weight of Justinian's ambition. Their first destination, Sicily, the gateway to Italy. Sicily falls with startling ease. City after city opens its gates, inspired by Rome's return. By the year's end, the island is secured. Belisarius has his foothold, and the path to Italy is wide open. But Naples will not yield so quickly. The city's walls rise like stone giants. Its defenders prepare for siege. For Belisarius, this will be the first true test of his campaign. To break the stalemate, Roman engineers dig deep beneath Naples. In crumbled tunnels lit by flickering oil lamps, they claw through the earth and stone. Above them, Gothic defenders listen anxiously, knowing a single breach could mean total collapse. When the ground finally gives way, Naples trembles. The Roman army surges through the shattered walls, overwhelming the defenders. The city falls, and Italy begins to feel the pressure of Rome's slow but relentless advance. With Naples secure, Belisarius marches north along the ancient Appian Way. His soldiers tread the same stones once walked by Caesar and Augustus. Ahead lies the greatest prize of all, Rome, the eternal city. Abandoned by their Gothic rulers, the people of Rome open their gates to Belisarius. After decades of foreign rule, the city once again welcomes a Roman army. Hope flickers in the heart of its weary citizens. But the Goths are far from defeated. Their new king, Witiges, rallies his warriors and prepares a massive counterattack. His goal is simple and uncompromising: recapture Rome or die fighting for it. In early 537, the Gothic army descends upon Rome, surrounding the city with tens of thousands of men. Towers roll towards the walls, engines of war groan. The eternal city braces itself for one of the fiercest siege in its long history. Belisarius transforms Rome into an iron fortress. Day and night he leads from war, repelling assaults, directing counterattack, and keeping the city alive. Against overwhelming odds, the Romans hold firm. The siege becomes a legend. After months of relentless fighting and strategic pressure, the Gothic kingdom collapses. In 540, Ravenna, its capital, opens its gates to Belisarius. The Gothic king surrenders. Italy, it seems, has returned to Roman land, but the story is far from over. And so the dust settles, but the story does not end. For every warrior who stood in the storm, for every heartbeat who refused to vanish in fear, for every soul who rose when the world demanded surrender, this is your echo across time. Because victory is not only found in triumph, it is found in endurance. The quiet decision to rise again even when your hands tremble and your past tries to drag you under. Listen, every battle scars you, but every scar certifies your survivor. Every loss teaches you, but every lesson strengthens your foundation until even the mountains learn your name. You are not shaped to break, you are shaped to become. So walk out of this war with your chin raised, your spirit sharpened, your courage baptized in fire. Let the darkness remember the day it tried to swallow you and failed, because inside you is a relentless light, a flame that refuses to die, a spirit that rises even when buried beneath doubt, fear, and impossible odds. Carry that fire, carry that will, carry that unshakable truth. You are still standing, you are still rising, you are still becoming the warrior your destiny has been waiting for. And as long as breath moves in your chest, the battle is never your end, it is only your awakening.